Hey guys, just a follow up to the videos we've been doing with this little mare here. She's had a few weeks off. We got busy, we had a bit of rain, we went away, did a few horse sales and stuff, so we're back here. I find people ask me, you know, when you're breaking a horse in or starting a colt, does it matter if they have a few days off? And I think it doesn't really matter as long as you quit on a good note, because they remember the last thing that happened to them. So if you're very structured and your horses are having a good experience, then they should take off where you left off, whether it's in a week or 10 days or 3 weeks, whatever. You might have to refresh them. But with my program here, I'm very structured on repetition and building process. So I'll teach them A, then I'll teach them B, and then I'll go A, B, C, A, B, C, D, and I'll just keep going back to A all the time and stepping through the stages so that those things that we've taught that horse just get more and more solid. That horse gets more comfortable, and they retain that training that we've shown them. So this little mare here, she's been really girthy. We just saddled her up. I'm going to lunge her off here. I'm going to go back and direct and drive. So I'm just going to ask her to move her front end. I'm going to let her trot out. I want her to follow my body language and the direction of my body language. And I want to refine this more and more to where the signals that I'm giving this mare are almost invisible. Like, I really want her to have to watch me to be able to pick up those cues. The more loud and clear I am at her, the less she's going to pay attention. So it's a bit like working for someone that yells and screams all the time. Like, after a while, you just kind of block them out. With these horses here, I want to really try and refine my signals to where they're almost invisible. So that horse really has to dial in to see what I'm doing. If they don't respond to those cues, then I'll follow it up. I'll increase that signal until it gets louder and louder until they actually pay attention. So with this direct and drive, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask that horse to move forward with my guiding hand, my directing hand, and then I'm going to drive them with my opposite hand. So like here, I'm going to ask her to go around to my left anti-clockwise. I'm going to ask her, I'm going to cluck to her, and then I'm going to reinforce that with my right hand. And I don't like to just go round and round and round. I want to be able to change direction. So I'm going to step to a hip, disengage a hip there. I'm not going to pull her to me. I want her to step around and put slack in that rope. Now I'm going to ask her to go. I'm going to open up that door. I might cluck to her, kiss to her to get her to lope. I'm just going to shut her down there. Get her hind end, hind end, hind end, front end. Go forward. Hind end, front end. So those transitions, by changing direction all the time, that mare's got to watch me with her ear and her eye, hind end, front end. She's got to watch me and pay attention. I'm going to step her hind end around here, now I'm going to back her up straight. Oh. She anticipated there, now I'm going to get her to back up. Then I'm going to break that anticipation. So you'll hear me talk about anticipation and using it to your advantage a lot. Right there was a good example of where I'd changed directions 4 or 5 times and she just anticipated that we were going to go the other way. So what I did was I broke it up by making her go back. I'm going to step her hind end around here again, I'm going to back her up. There, I want her watching my body language. She's going to have a bit of a lick and a chew there. She'll have a bit of a think about what it was that just got her out of trouble. And like I said there in one of these other videos, I like to back these horses up a lot because it's such an unnatural thing for them to do. I want them to find a release in it. So the more I can back them up on the ground and get them to figure out how to use their feet, the better they're going to get at it when I get on their back. And then I can use that back up as a correction later on if they don't stop, or when we're working a cow to get them back on their hocks through the turnaround and stuff like that. So I'm going to back her up. Good. Now I'm going to send her off. Good. Now she was a lot softer that time because she wasn't anticipating, she was thinking. I'm going to get her hind end. I'm going to get her to go, front end. I'm going to get her hind end, front end. Good. She's starting to overreact a little bit, so I'm going to back her up. I've got her undivided attention here, like she's watching me, she's figuring out what it is that I'm asking her to do, and she's staying out of trouble. I find these real feely, sensitive horses, they take their training on board very quickly. But the trouble with that is it can be good or bad. If your training, if your timing's not great, your margin for error is very, very small. So I find that if my timing's perfect, I can get these horses to train in a very short time. If I get a colder, slower footed, thicker skinned horse, it takes me a lot longer to get them to pick up their training and to take it on board and retain it. I've got to repeat the process over and over and over, but I have a great margin for error. Like, I can make a few mistakes and they're a lot more forgiving. These horses that are very sensitive, for me, they're a better challenge. I enjoy working with them because they'll tell me when I'm doing it wrong. So right now this mare's giving me all the right answers. She's watching me, I've got her attention. I can move her feet forwards, backwards, left and right. She's getting more and more confident. She's licking her lips, working her mouth, working her ears. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go through the mouthing process and what we do to get them broke with a bit in their mouth.